Hi, I'm Derek, business systems coach for contractors. So you got some project managers, they're out there in the field, taking care of business, getting projects done. But how do you ensure that they're profitable? How do you ensure your clients are getting a great experience? I'm gonna be sharing with you tips, tricks, and a whole bunch of information how to organize construction project managers. So before we jump into all the great information in this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Best way to grow your construction business is subscribe to the channel. Hit the subscribe button now, get signed up. All right, so let's jump in. Project managers are gonna be your quintessential managers inside your business to help you get out of the day-to-day, keep you doing what you do best, which is, driving business, building your business, working on, the bigger picture stuff. So if you aren't organized, if you don't have an organized system for your project managers, then you can't expect them to perform at a high level. So the first thing that you're going to need to get into place in order to organize your project management is systems. If you know me, I'm a big systems guy. It's what I do. I'm all about creating systems to be effective. First one is your project management software. So common ones, Builder Trend, Co-Construct, House Call Pro. There's a whole bunch out there, but you get the idea. So this software is going to be essential. There is other options, of course, more customized options with spreadsheets and different things like that. But this is going to be the basic backbone of how you manage projects, how your project managers manage themselves. So this is the first thing to get into place. And if you have it in place already, kudos to you, but make sure you're optimizing it. And usually these programs, the software, you're paying for it, they're going to provide free support. So make sure you leverage that to your advantage and get help implementing and making sure you're using the software effectively. Second kind of system, fairly easy one, everyone understands it. Checklists. So checklists, so vitally important. Things like quality control, getting projects spun up. So you've got a whole checklist for what are you going to need on site, your site signs, your safety, your schedules, your plans for the projects. So all these different things, create a checklist, quality checklist, pretty straightforward and simple. Easy kind of things to get into place, but something that you want to make sure is refined and you're continuing to build and improve on it. And you have some sort of system that the project managers understands, when they're supposed to use it, how they're supposed to use it, and also reporting to either you or superintendent when it's been completed and have easy access to it. So that's the second one in systems. The third thing in systems is scheduling. So, construction project scheduling, it's the butt of many jokes. How long is things going to take? Well, who knows, right? That's kind of how a lot of construction businesses operate, unfortunately. But the scheduling is so important to have a project plan schedule in place before you start the project and it be fluid and updated regularly. So that's going to be super essential for your construction project managers to get organized. And this should be available for you, your clients, and the project manager, so everybody knows what's going on. Plus your on-site production, personnel. If you've got in-house, carpenters or whatever tradespeople and things like that they also have access to the budget, or at least know what's expected of them through the schedule. And then the final thing, which I mentioned, is budgeting. So your project manager should have access to the budget, the estimate, the quote, whatever budget that you have in place going into the project, plus up-to-date job costing, so they know where things are coming in. Are they over budget? Are they under budget? Can they communicate that to the team of hey, you know what, we've got 2 days budgeted, or we've got 2 weeks budgeted for this. If we go over that, then we're over budget. If we're under, then hooray for everybody. We'll accomplish our goal. So budgeting system in place so that, again, everyone has access to it, and your project managers can understand as well, why are we going over budget or why are we under budget? Was it an estimating thing? Was it weather? Was it access issues? Was it we forgot about something, or our on-site personnel just aren't being effective? So where are the issues that are causing these budget changes? So without the budget information, they have no idea what's at the end of the project, why is it over budget? Well, it could be a million different things unless they have that information. All right, so that's the first one, systems. You need a proper systems for organizing your business in place. This should be built out and ready, available before you hire your first project manager. But if you already have project managers and you're just relying on their experience, you don't have a good system for them, this is the first place to start with getting them organized and making sure they're up to speed and being effective. Creates profitability for you, creates an easier working environment for them, better client experience for your clients. So second point right, moving on is meetings. So project manager, they're a manager, and if they're just out in the field running solo, Lone Ranger all day, maybe they're getting stuff done, maybe they're not, but they are part of a team, they're part of a larger organization. So you need to schedule meetings and communication with them so that everybody's on the same page and you're able to know what's going on, troubleshoot any problems they're having, and also be, coaching and mentoring them on how to manage their projects and how to deal with certain situations that are coming up. So when they're starting out, if you just hired a project manager, you're probably going to want to you'll have some onboarding training. So you'll be probably seeing them every day or having someone train them every day, but you should be checking with them probably daily or every other day, see how they're doing, making sure they have what they need, that they understand the system, they know what's going on, that they know that you're approachable and able to help them. Then you want to have a weekly production meeting. Very common in larger organizations. If you don't have some sort of weekly management meeting, now is the time to start. Weekly meeting just to see where are all the projects at. Are there any roadblocks, any things that's slowing down a project or issues that have come up? Make sure everybody on the team knows what's happening. These are the format you can choose. I know some where they've got maybe 100 different projects or houses going on, and they've just got a list and they're just banging off the list pretty much of okay, or drywall, electrical finishing, completion, foundation, just listing off things so everyone knows where it's going and then troubleshooting any issues. So depending on the size of your organization, how you handle that, but you want to have a weekly production meeting. And then monthly training. So a monthly meeting, this is more high level. This is more like what kind of overarching issues or initiatives can we do with the business? What do I want to train on? What maybe some visioneering as far as your core beliefs within your company, your core principles, and just overall company vision and goals and things like that. So those are meetings that you should be having with your project managers and your management team, depending on the size and structure of your organization. So does that make sense? These things are quintessential. Don't get overwhelmed. There's a lot here. If you're not doing a lot of these, pick out a couple things. I will put all these bullet points in the description, so make sure you check out the description. There's also a free course in there, how to systematize your business, how to build a business that works without you. Great resource, so make sure you check that out. All right, so moving on to point number 3. Area number 3 is expectations. So important throughout your business, especially with clients, but your project managers as well. If they don't know what the expectations are, then it's going to be hard for them to deliver quality service, the level of production that you're looking for. So what expectations should you be setting with them? You want to have clear expectations on deliverables. What are their deliverables? What are they supposed to do? Are you on budget, on time, weekly reports? What do you want from them? What are they responsible for? Priorities, super big, important. Something that I see a lot of people not understanding to some degree. You say priorities and it's this is most important, that's most important. But few people actually follow this with discipline. And this is a huge differentiator between people who are operating at a high level and just your average Joe guy that's just kind of going through the paces and showing up to work and trying to get stuff done, but not really giving a care about the bigger picture. But setting clear priorities. This is something that I've worked on myself with coaching other people, but also with myself of just what's the end goal? What's the biggest priority? What's really crucial? What's on the critical path of the schedule? What should I be focused on and working on now? Which client is the most important? I know we like to keep everybody happy, but in reality, what project, what initiative, what person, what's priority here? What should we be working on? So coaching them, but also setting priorities for them and helping them set priorities for production staff. So if you've got a lot of in-house production, again, a lot of your carpenters, your especially the lower level guys, the new guys into the new blood in the company, they're going through the paces. It's as long as they're working on something and they seem productive, usually they're happy, but you have to be clear with them, I need this done first and then this and then that. So not to beat a dead horse, you get the idea, but this is a huge thing of a way that you can increase efficiency, increase production, and just run a much better operating business by setting super clear priorities and having that as a staple throughout organization. Third point I'm going to touch on with clear expectation is timelines. So of course you want to have really clear timelines of what's the expectation here. Again, you'll have the schedule, you'll have the budget, but what's the expectation for your PMs keeping track of what's going on? And also if changes come up, so what's the expectation? Hey, we're out 3 days because you got to wait for this. Do you try to get someone else in there? Do you notify the clients? Do you notify yourself as the business owner? So what's the expectation there? So moving on, you're still with me. So a lot of expectation stuff, and this stuff that you can have in a document. I've got a lot of these templates for checklists and expectations, and a lot of this stuff already built out for you. If you want, just connect with me, and as part of the coaching program at the Rapid Results Creators. The third place to have clear expectations is delegation. So who should they be delegating to? What should they be delegating? How to delegate? So So again, clear expectations. Project managers, you may get guys like me. Honestly, I like to have other people do stuff for me, and I like to delegate a lot of things. I like to really focus priorities on stuff that's, you know, bringing in money, growing business, making things easier, systematizing. The other things that is like kind of the day-to-day or repetitive, I want to delegate that as quick as possible. So you may have project managers who understand that and work on that, and you have to kind of manage that as well, because there's things that they should be doing that they may delegate to other people that aren't capable or aren't trained properly. So they're delegating maybe ineffective, and you may run into issues. So heads up for that. Or you may have those guys who they've been on site, they know how to do everything, they're awesome, you know, being carpenter, every single trade, they're jack of all trades. They want to be in their hands on, and it's like, oh, this guy didn't show up, so I'm going to jump in and quickly take over. Oh, we've got a deficiency at this job, I'm going to run over there and take care of that myself. When in reality, they've got much higher priorities, like, you know, dealing with clients, dealing with projects, creating budgets and scopes of work, and whatever else, that they should not be doing this stuff. So those kind of delegation, again, you should have like a project management manual to give PMs. If you need help with this, reach out to me. That states, you know, these are the things that you should be delegating. These are priorities of your job. So can you see how like all of this, it's like, yeah, that makes sense, but until it's actually documented, until it's a system, until it's actually being used in your business, you're not getting the benefits of it. And it may seem like common knowledge, but it's not common practice. Like so many different things in business and in construction, it's like, yeah, duh, that makes sense, but hey, who's actually doing it and who's actually following up on it, and is there actually a repetitive system? So last thing I'm going to touch on, clear expectations, communication. So thing that everybody loves, communication, right? And in construction, I think we all know communication is probably the top of the list of like pet peeves for every client who ever did a construction project in the history of construction. Communication. So communicating with you, communicating with the team, communicating with clients, not just communicating. Like that's like the bare minimum, right? Like that's like, you have to be this high to enter the ride kind of thing. You don't want to be there. Yes, it's great that you reached out and communicated, but how and at what level and to what degree and in what detail should they be communicating? So you should be training them on how to communicate with clients, how often they should be communicating with you. You should have systems set up for communication, whether that's, you know, like a WhatsApp or Slack or your project management software messaging. So how should they be communicating? How should they, you know, what should they be sending in emails? How should they put the subject line of an email so it's searchable? Who should they be CCing on emails? So there's a lot of things that go into it, and it may be overwhelming to get this all in place, but you can see where there is so much detail to running a really effective and high level construction company. So that said, if you are there, if you want to grow your construction company, if you want to get off, you know, the day-to-day grind of managing projects or managing project managers, you want a general manager, reach out to me. Make sure you check out the links in the description below, a bunch of links in there to free resources, plus how to connect with me. Check out the other videos. I've got tons of other great videos on, you know, more specifics of which systems or how to set up meetings or how to set expectations. So check out the other videos on the channel. Here's the best to you. Here's the best to your project managers.